Welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews and the conclusion to my series where I document my first bodybuilding show. I had check-ins Friday evening. To make bantamweight, I had to get down to 143 pounds, but according to my scales at home, I was about 5 pounds over, so Friday afternoon, I took a trip to Gold's Gym and spent some time in the sauna. I did 3 rotations of 15 minutes in the sauna and 15 minutes out. By that third trip, I was close enough to making weight, so I left Gold's and I thought I would be good by the time check-ins rolled around. Check-ins were at a hotel, and this is where I checked in with the photographer, the DJ, where I weighed in, and where I got to talk to 4-time Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler for the second time. The first time was in 2022. I really think Jay is interested and genuinely cares about his fans, and he is a very approachable person. Originally, I was just going to compete at bantamweight, which is 143 pounds and under, but a few weeks before the show, I also decided to enter into True Novice and Masters over 40. At weigh-ins, I was slightly over, so rather than trying to cut weight at the last minute and compete at bantamweight, I just went up to lightweight, and it turned out that was a really good thing because there weren't any competitors at bantamweight, so at least in all the divisions, I had some competition. After weigh-ins, where I came in at 147, it was time for 2 coats of spray tan. This is an experience where you can't be bashful. I had to wear a sock and nothing else and stand in a room with 8 other guys while some girl who I had never met saw every crack and crevice of my body twice on Friday and once on Saturday morning.
We just got checked in, we got our tan on, we got to say hi to Jay Cutler and got some pictures with Jay, and luckily I was wearing my Powertec gear, and as you all may know, Jay used to represent Powertec, so that was really cool to have a picture with him wearing this. Starting the carb up process, good old rice cakes. This is the first time having these in probably, 20 years, 30 years. It's the plain kind, so they're not very good. But at least they have carbohydrates, which is something I haven't had very much of recently. It's Saturday morning, the day of the show. It's about 5:45 a.m. I woke up at 2 and there was no going back to sleep. I had my meal at 5 a.m. It was a high carb meal. It was 60 grams of oats with some honey, which was absolutely amazing. I love these carb up meals. 2 whole eggs, half a cup of egg whites, and that's what I'll have up until my coach sees me, and then we'll do some adjustments with macros at that point. So here's how I'm looking. This is with 2 coats of base tan. In this lighting, I feel like everything looks pretty good. But last night, immediately after I got this second coat, I had my wife take some pictures of me that I sent to my coach, and I was not impressed with those pictures. And he told me that I needed to carb up and fill out. So he sent me to 5 guys. And that was supposed to be the meal that I had at the end of the show, but I ended up having it last night to fill out. And it was my first time having 5 guys, in maybe 10 to 15 years. And I feel so much better. Like the energy is back. Loved it. And then last night I had another high carb meal. And while I wasn't impressed with the pictures that my wife took and that I sent to my coach, at least right now in the mirror, I think things are looking a lot better. Obviously, I don't want to mess up my spray tan, but I also don't want to be out here posing in trunks right now. I have striations running along my quads, a lot of separation. You can see the different heads of the muscle down here in the calves. Some nice vascularity. Let's look at the back. They say that shows are won or lost from the back. Now, what I will tell you all is while I was there at check-ins, I saw a lot of guys who are a lot bigger than me and weighed a lot more than me. And you can tell they've been doing this for a while. But I'm doing this for Powertec because I want to show that training from a home gym can be just as good as training in the best commercial gyms. I wanted to do this once to say that I did it. And as I said before, the president of Powertec, Scott, has always talked about Lee Priest and how in one of Lee Priest's Olympia preps, he prepared using only Powertec products. And that's exactly what I've done. For basically the last 2 years, I've trained almost exclusively with Powertec products, and to prepare for this show, I trained, again, almost exclusively with Powertec products. For the last 10 weeks of this prep, I switched to almost all free weight exercises, and my Powertec Power Rack became my most valuable training tool. And basically, all of my lifts were done on that or with dumbbells. And while I think it was good and I think it helped me in some areas, I do think it detracted from some muscle groups in other areas. So I think I lost maybe a little bit in my shoulders and triceps when I got rid of the Streamline Functional Trainer, because I lost some of the lateral raise exercises I was doing, some of the tricep push down exercises I was doing. And as you all probably saw the video where I sold half of my equipment, I mentioned why I had to do it, but there's already 2 more machines on the way. So while I thought for a second this garage gym wasn't going to be super full anytime soon, 2 more machines are already coming, so I can keep the reviews rolling. So if you're only here for the reviews, the bodybuilding content is almost over and the reviews are going to start picking back up. But throughout today, I'll document as much as I can of this show. And I want to thank all of you for cheering me on and being a part of this journey. See you in a little bit.
Once I got to the venue on Saturday morning, I met my coach in the parking lot, hit a few poses, and he knew exactly what I needed to eat to peak perfectly. 1 hour before the show, I had 1 rice cake with peanut butter, 1 rice cake with honey, 8 ounces of water, and 10 grams of citrulline. 30 minutes before I stepped on stage, I had 2 Rice Krispie treats. It's really difficult to describe how good all of this food was after being restricted for months. The venue was really nice and it seated a few hundred people. Luckily, the lights on stage were so bright that when I looked out in the audience, I couldn't see anyone, and that certainly helped my nerves. I can't remember which class this was, but this guy was my closest competition, and in the end, I ended up taking first in all 3 classes, and I really have my conditioning to thank for my success. For years, I wanted to look like Ronnie and Jay, but I should have been chasing the Frank Zane look because that look suits me and my structure much better. I had to wait 5 hours before finals, so I had to peak perfectly a second time to go against the winners in all the other divisions. So in between, my coach had me eat another cheeseburger and french fries, and then 1 hour before I stepped on stage, I started that same pre-performance protocol that I mentioned earlier. At 147 pounds, I really didn't stand a chance against the guys who were 200 and close to 300 pounds, but I do feel like my conditioning was just as good, if not better than most of theirs. After the show, I got some great pictures with my dad, more pictures with Jay, and when my wife wasn't holding the camera, I even got some pictures with her. Just an absolutely amazing day, but the fun wasn't over because now it was time to eat. Originally, the plan was to have 5 guys immediately after the show, but because I had that after check-ins, I ended up going to Raising Cane's for some of the best chicken strips and Texas toast in town, but some of the worst french fries in the restaurant business. Next up, the grocery store.
We're gonna have some cereal and some Pop-Tarts, some chips, a chocolate bar. This is a lot of fun. Now I'm gonna mix this with chocolate protein powder so it does have some redeeming qualities. So this will be a very good post-workout meal, and this is something that I used to do back in the day before my blood sugar got all messed up, is mix some of this high sugar cereal with whey protein in milk post-workout. First bag of chips, Doritos. Now I'm looking for a good barbecue chip. I've been craving barbecue, oddly enough. 2 for $7. I think that's a steal. This is nuts. I'm not actually going to eat all of this. I'll have to donate it or take it to work, unless some of my coworkers have some of it. Last stop before heading home. I am home after 2 long days, and I just about finished a medium pizza, which was a lot of food for me, especially since I had Raising Cane's immediately after the show. And in between prejudging and finals, I had a cheeseburger and french fries to help pump me up. It really was an awesome and special day. And although the competition wasn't like super duper tough, it wasn't like it was Jay versus Ronnie. It was really me going in there and seeing what I could do, the best package that I could bring. And I was really happy with my vascularity and conditioning.
I feel like that's where I really shined. And even at the end, where they put me up against all of the big guys, I obviously didn't take first overall, but I was proud to stand up there with the guys from all the other divisions, and I feel like my vascularity and conditioning was good, and I feel like it helped me stand out, even though they were much bigger guys than me. My dad came out. I got to see Jay Cutler before, during, and after the show. I got some video and pictures of me and Jay with my medals, which was a very special moment for me. And again, I did this show because I wanted to say that I competed once. And I also wanted to do it for Powertec. I wanted to go out and show that my home gym equipment can get me in awesome shape. It's one thing to review equipment. I feel like it's a whole nother thing to use a brand almost exclusively for 2 years and then go into a competition just showing what I was able to accomplish in my garage almost exclusively with Powertec equipment. And that was really special for me. As you all know, I'm very loyal to this brand. I've been loyal to this brand since 2008. I sing their praises. I say how good their equipment is. And I showed today what I could do going up against people who are training in commercial gyms. I am really looking forward to lifting in the morning. I haven't lifted since Wednesday, so this is going to be a special workout. I'm probably going to get a monster pump. I went ahead and bought some NO Explode just because I haven't had any of those types of supplements for a while, and it's more the nostalgia of it than anything. Back when Ronnie used to represent BSN, and I got the original NO Explode. At the time, it was really good. I don't know if it would hold up, if that original formula would hold up nowadays. I want to again thank everybody who supported me. There were a couple of people at the show who recognized me, and that was extremely cool, and it meant a lot to me to have some people wave me down and say how much my channel and my hacks and reviews mean to them. That was just as special to me as walking on stage and really doing what I thought was my best. And even though I didn't make bantamweight, that was actually a good thing. My 2 scales here at the house, I guess they're weighing me lighter than what they actually should, because when I got to the scale at check-ins, it had me at 147, and I didn't expect to be nearly that high. I expected to be right at 143 coming in at bantamweight. So I had to jump up to lightweight. But it turns out that that was a really good thing for me because I had some excellent conditioning as a result of trying to get down to 143 pounds. I want to thank Powertec. Powertec helped sponsor me in this show. This was an expensive show. At some point, I'll total up how much everything was, but just the 3 different divisions that I entered, that was well over $300. The tanning was almost $200. The NPC card was over $100. Travel, and I know there are some other expenses that I'm missing that I'll calculate, but it was probably, photography, over $100. So we're pushing close to $1,000, and Powertec covered all of that for me, and I thought that was extremely cool of them, and it just goes to show how great that company is to me, and I appreciate it because I've been very dedicated and loyal to them. And I hope that I've helped you all with some Powertec equipment reviews and some of my Powertec equipment hacks, or helping with assembly questions. So I'm going to walk a little bit more, try to get some of this food off of my stomach, feel a little bit more like a normal human as opposed to so bloated after all that food, and hang out with my wife, who none of this would have been possible without her. She is everything to me. She is my biggest supporter. She was there for every minute of this, cheering me on. My wife has an extremely limited diet, so she has to sit there and watch me have all of this amazing food today to celebrate. And she has to have like walnuts and dried fruit because of some of her dietary restrictions. And she's just the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I wouldn't be anywhere where I am in life right now if it weren't for her. It's the day after the show, and I slept until about 5:15, which is the longest night of sleep that I've had in probably months. And I want to show what my blood sugar looks like
the day after having all of the wild food that I had, Five Guys, Raising Cane's, Pizza Hut, and then at night I had some snacks. And obviously I don't make these food choices as someone with blood sugar issues, but I just want to show what happens after a day of eating like that. I have been below 100 for days and days and weeks, but I have a feeling that's all about to change. $128 as a fasted reading. This is the highest fasted reading I've had in probably 3 to 4 months, maybe longer. And that just goes to show one day of bad eating can throw my numbers off by 30 or 40 points. So I may have a little more fun today with my food choices, but I will get back on track because I do not want to throw away all the hard work that I've made with smart food choices. And I don't want to throw my blood sugar out of whack. But I'm getting ready to have a meal. One more really fun breakfast. I'm gonna have a couple of Pop-Tarts as my pre-workout meal, and then I'm gonna have some NO Explode for the first time in a long time. So it's going to be a fun morning and a fun workout. It's been a little over an hour since 2 Pop-Tarts and a scoop of whey protein. I'll be interested to see if there's been a major blood sugar spike since having those Pop-Tarts. I don't feel particularly good after eating them. I feel kind of tired, but they were really good. 138. So it's not terrible 1 hour after a meal, but it's still not great. I'd rather not have that high of a reading. But now I'm getting ready to have some NO Explode. Since the first time, I don't know, maybe since 2005. I remember this stuff tasted really, really good. And back in the day, the old formula, if you would shake it up in a shaker cup and open the shaker cup up real fast, it would explode. I'm gonna go about 1 1/4 scoops, which is just a little over 300 milligrams of caffeine. It smells really good. And this is the blue raz flavor. That's definitely good. Probably not as good as some of the caged supplements that I normally have. I think pre-caged, their various flavors taste better than this. But this has a little bit of a bite to it, almost like a little bit of carbonation.
This was my first workout after the show, and it was one of the best of my life. I'm following the same lifting program I did during prep, but with a few additional exercises now that I have the new Powertec linear bearing Smith machine and the new Powertec leg press hack squat combo. And as my body weight gradually increases, so does the weight of each work set. If you want to see my full 5-day split, check out part 1, where I also cover my diet, which has pretty much stayed the same, just with slightly larger portion sizes. Within 36 hours of the show, I weighed in 13 pounds heavier, and I noticed some swelling in my ankles. At first I was concerned, but after a Google search, apparently it's completely normal and it's from manipulating salt and water. The other health issue that I've experienced is something called central serous retinopathy. This is the 3rd time in my life I've had it, once in my mid-30s, once in my early 40s, and now. Basically, it's an eye condition brought on by elevated cortisol, where fluid collects under the retina and everything looks dark and blurry out of one eye. Previously, I got it during stressful periods in my life, and I think competing in a bodybuilding show is definitely quite stressful to the body. There is no cure for it. I just have to wait for it to go away, and that could take about a month. I'm also still feeling pretty fatigued about a month later, but I do think my body is starting to return to normal, However, the likelihood of me doing another show is slim to none. It's too hard on me, and I don't think it's fair to my wife and dogs. For anyone thinking about competing, I want to give you some advices. Good advices, unlike Arnold and pumping iron. First, I would get a coach, someone who's been there and done it, and who has been successful on stage. Next, pay for the professional tan and professional photography. Both make a big difference. Also, be prepared for very difficult days during prep. Like my coach said, if it's easy, you're not doing something right. Lastly, try to have fun. This was one of the best, if not the best weekend of my life. My wife even said after our wedding day, this was the best day of our lives since we've been together. Immediately after the show, I contacted the Powertec team to tell them the good news, and Powertec's president told me to get plenty of videos and pictures over the next couple days because my physique will look unreal as I fill back out, and he was exactly right. Many people don't know this, but Powertec's president is a former bodybuilder, and he had a very impressive physique during his competition days. I'll briefly cover supplements. From weeks 20 through 10, I used Cage Muscle's pre-workout and intra-workout supplement. I've always been a big fan of Cage products dating back over 10 years. From weeks 10 to the final week of the show, I just mixed 4 grams of beta-alanine with 6 to 8 grams of citrulline and 200 milligrams of caffeine in water and drank that pre-workout. Intra-workout, I used a product from Core Nutraceuticals called Hard. It includes KSM66. I also did and still do take a daily multivitamin, additional D3K2. Because my lab results indicated I was low, I supplement with DHEA, and because my lab results indicated my thyroid function is a little low, I also supplement with selenium, and at some point during the day, I have 5 grams of creatine. Lastly, for supplements, I cover when, how much, and which protein powders I take in part 1. Let's talk TRT. 10 months ago, I made a video detailing my experience with testosterone cream. To recap, in October of 2022, my testosterone was definitely low at 256, so my PCP prescribed me testosterone cream that I got from the apothecary, and by April of 2023, my testosterone went up to 386, and by the end of 2023, my testosterone went up to 440. Unfortunately, I never felt or saw any benefit from the cream, and the only thing that I ever noticed was increased hair at the site of application. So with it costing me $140 a month, I gradually tapered off. In January of 2025, in my mid-40s, this is how I looked from the front, and this is how I looked from the back with just training and nutrition. But when I met my coach and later learned that he worked for Merrick Health, he had me run some labs, and we saw that my testosterone was still low at 311. So he suggested that I get on testosterone replacement therapy, not just for the show, but for overall health and wellness. Because I had already tried the cream, and because I had been supplementing with DHEA, I couldn't compete in a natural bodybuilding show, so I thought I'd give TRT another try. I got another prescription, and in February of 2025, and since then, I've been on a fairly low dose of 40 milligrams 3 times a week. By April of 2025, my testosterone shot up to over 1200, and even with my testosterone that high, I haven't experienced all the amazing benefits that you hear a lot of people talk about. So for example, I still have brain fog, I'm still tired most of the day, and I need a nap when I come home from work. I don't have a lot of energy, and I don't have that overall sense of wellness that you hear a lot of people talk about. However, I haven't had any sides. Ultimately, if I evaluate my physique over the last 7 months, TRT has definitely helped because my testosterone was so low, but I also think it was critical to switch to a moderate volume training program 3.5 months ago, maintain a super strict diet, and incorporate 7 days of cardio. What's tricky about TRT is a lot of people will say all the improvements I had in my physique are the result of the therapy. But I know how much work I put in during prep, and the look that I brought to the stage, I feel like was more a result of losing body fat than it was putting on a ton of muscle. And I understand, and now I see why people are so reluctant to disclose this kind of information, but if I've learned anything from social media, transparency is key. Back in 2008, when I purchased my first Powertec product, I never would have believed that in 2025, Powertec would be sponsoring my first bodybuilding show. I also never would have believed that back when I was watching Ronnie and Jay battle for the Olympia, that I would eventually stand beside Jay Cutler after winning 3 first-place medals in my very first bodybuilding show. Life has its difficult moments, but it can also have its really special ones too. Thank you all for being a part of my bodybuilding journey. If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please consider liking the video. And if you purchase a Powertec product, please consider using my one and only equipment company affiliate link. That link can be found in the description of this video. It helps me out, but way more importantly than that, it lets Powertec know that I'm helpful to their brand. And remember, if your equipment lacks, I got the hacks. Take care, everyone.